Staying safe in the backcountry only requires a few tools, but there are also essential items like these ski straps, which can be a lifesaver when you're deep in the mountains. So pay close attention as I'll be sharing the tools you may be unaware of that you need and exactly how I pack them in my bag. Let's get into it. Before we start, please keep in mind I am not a professional guide. I recreate in the backcountry, and these are the tools and tips that have worked best for me. Do not use this video as your only means of learning about the backcountry. Take an avalanche safety course and commit to your never-ending education in backcountry safety. The 3 vital tools you need before thinking about anything else is a beacon, a probe, and a shovel. A beacon, or what is also known as an avalanche transceiver, constantly emits a signal so that you or a partner can be located after an avalanche. I use the BCA Tracker 3, which is easy to understand and has always been reliable for me when practicing using my gear. A probe is a collapsible pole which is used to pinpoint the victim under the snow after you have located them with your beacon. This has centimeter measurements so you can know how deep a buried person is. And a shovel is used to uncover whoever is buried. Only use a metal shovel, which are typically made of aluminum, as compacted avalanche snow can be incredibly firm. Think of these as a 3-piece ticket to the backcountry. Without any one of these 3, your access to the backcountry would be denied. Before actually packing for a backcountry tour, it is important to have a backpack that is reliable and meets the needs of all your gear. I've used the same pack for the last 5 years, and it feels as important to me as any of the gear in it. Although they no longer make this bag, it is a 33-liter Burton AK pack, and it works perfect for me. When you're shopping for your own, here are a few key things to look for. I think the perfect size is between 25 and 35 liters, depending on what the majority of your missions will look like. You'll want the ability for a vertical board carry and an A-frame carry, which I find using much more often. I prefer having access to the interior through the back, although I can get into this pack through the top too. It's best to also find a pack that has comfortable hip straps for you, as you could be carrying quite a bit of weight if your board is on your back. Finally, I suggest finding a pack that has a dedicated quick access area for your shovel and probe. On mine, the outside pocket can be quickly ripped open to grab my Avi gear. Your beacon is one of the only things that will be on your body and not in your pack. Beacons come with a chest harness, but what works best for me is keeping it in my pocket. Beacon placement can be a hot topic. Having it on your chest allows for your rescuers to track your beacon down in a place closer to your airway to clear it of snow. But in my pocket, I have much quicker access to my beacon rather than unbuckling my chest straps and jacket zippers. It sits more comfortably in my pocket, and I still have a place to clip the leash to. After your 3-piece safety ticket, the next most important tool is a radio. These are not always mentioned, but having communication between your team is critical. With reliable radios, you can easily talk to someone who hasn't dropped in yet to inform them of the run and possible dangers they should avoid. If there happens to be an avalanche, you can communicate with your team who may be spread far apart, or even confirm certain riders are clear and safe. I use the BCA Link radio, which I stow in my pack and clip to my shoulder strap. Make sure you have a radio that can lock your channel so that it does not accidentally get changed while it's in your pack. When preparing for a backcountry trip, properly packing is only part of the equation. Having a solid plan of where you're going and what hazards to avoid during travel is just as important. The most valuable tool I've found for planning is OnX Backcountry Maps. With their huge catalog of established routes to shred, I can browse around to find the best runs to ride on any given day. For these routes, I can follow detailed trip plans imported from sources like Beacon guidebooks and also share my ski report from the day. OnX shows me the level of danger I will be traveling through based directly on reports from the top avalanche resource centers like the Utah Avalanche Center and Colorado Avalanche Information Center. Furthermore, I can toggle between layers like the Avalanche Terrain Exposure Scale to better understand the terrain I'll be in, Avalanche Runout to understand the potential of what an avalanche may do in this terrain, and Avalanche Potential Release Areas, which is based on slope angle and other features such as where trees are located. Once my trip is planned, I can download an offline map to follow when I'm out of cell service. To gain access to these essential planning and mapping tools, use code SOS20 or follow the link in the description to 20% off a plan from Onyx Backcountry. When you're deep in the mountains, 90% of the time you're outside of cell service. That's why I carry this InReach Mini with me whenever I go out. In the case of an emergency, this is the most reliable way to contact help. Even on a typical day, it allows me to send out messages to the folks back home to let them know if everything is going to plan or if we're running behind schedule. It can also send a map of your location when you send messages out. I keep this clipped on my other shoulder strap because it also shows me stats like our pace, how far we've gone, or how high we've climbed. The last piece of safety equipment I've got in my pack is a first aid kit. This is helpful for minor injuries like cuts and bleeding, but I also keep a lighter in here, a roll of duct tape, and a handful of Advil and other painkillers labeled in this nifty tube. I've only had to use this kit once when a friend tumbled through some sharp rocks and got cut up. Fortunately, we only needed to use a few band-aids, but it was extremely helpful for that incident. I've also got a small pouch of hardware for my bindings in case I happen to lose a screw. Depending on the trip, I may carry 1 or 2 full Nalgene's of water, which I keep in the bottom of my pack. Regardless, I always carry this water bladder, which I clip to my hip strap for quick access. This is usually empty by the time I'm dropping in, so it goes into my pack, and then I'll refill it and have it accessible again for the hike out. I've been using electrolyte tabs in this bladder to help stay properly hydrated through long days, although I don't have a specific brand I prefer. As far as fuel goes, it depends on how long we plan to be out to determine if I'll pack a full lunch. But at the minimum, I like having a bag of granola or bars within quick reach inside my jacket. For actual tools, at the minimum, you should carry something that you can tighten up your bindings with. You put a lot of stress on your gear traveling through the backcountry, so make sure you have a tool that can tighten anything that has a screw. My bindings have a T25 screw head, so I'm always sure to have a bit that can work for these. I do suggest carrying a multi-tool also, because I've had situations where pliers and a knife have come in very handy. If you're finding a lot of value in this video so far, it would mean a lot if you subscribe to the channel. It's the easiest way to support what I do and to help make sure I can keep making more videos like this. Thanks. The number one thing you should also have in your pack is a ski strap. And it's best to carry as many as you can. I keep 6 on me, and on one particular day, my friend and I needed to use every single one I had. His skins weren't sticking to his skis, so we strapped each one in addition to something breaking on his binding and something that failed on my gear. Without these straps, he would have been screwed making his way back home. I keep these straps in my hip pockets for quick access, and they are very easy to use in many different ways. You can use one to lock something down like this, or use multiples strapped together for a longer strap. Without fail, these are usually the only thing I need for any backcountry fix, including broken poles, broken backpack straps, and even as an ankle strap replacement on dropping into the biggest line of my life. You can find these and all the gear I've mentioned linked in the description below. When I'm not using it, I'll place my helmet in the dedicated helmet pouch, but I'm sure to clip my helmet to another strap so it doesn't pop out and get lost. It's nice to have a pair of sunglasses to hike in so you don't fog your goggles before you have to ride. And a nice trick to block some harsh sun is to wrap a sticker around the arm of your shades and cut it into a makeshift glacier shade. For splitboarding, I always carry a mini scraper in my skin bag to scrape my board of snow when I'm transitioning my splitboard. I fold my skins up nice to go in my pack up against my back. I suggest using 3-way collapsible poles so you can keep them in your pack easy. On my pack, I have spots on the outside that safely secure my poles. If it's necessary for the mission, I will bring an ice axe and crampons. I'll place my crampons teeth to teeth and away from anything they could damage in my pack. And I loop my axe here, tuck it away, and strap it to the outside of my pack. It's always an extra special mission when you need the ice axe and crampons. And if you haven't seen it, watch this video when we use them to hike up and ride the sickest couloir of my life called the Black Pearl. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you somewhere on the mountain. Peace!